Okay, now 8 o'clock. Let's put another shilling in the meter, a bit more power there. Good evening, welcome to the BATC Net. What's been going on this week? Mainly a Ryde release, a bit of fault finding on a Ryde release, and started selling Ryde SD cards in the shop. That's about it on the news. Let's put it straight round to Richard, GI4DOH. And Richard, if you were to transmit over me in a moment, we'll make sure the Ryde receivers all stay on this frequency. So G8GKQ passing transmission to Richard, GI4DOH. And Richard, if you'd like to start transmitting now.
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think I'm here from GI4DOH. Yep, there you can get a picture of myself, and of course turn my volume down to stop distracting myself. I didn't have any problems there, Dave, with the Ryde receiver while that other station was close to it. I just sort of finished putting things in the box today with the Ryde receiver, bar the mini tuner that's in the box isn't quite complete, so I just have a USB cable from my other mini tuner going into it at the moment, and I was just thinking I should actually have some pictures if I can get over to this and just watch for it coming up. Yep, the bits that arrived, I think the BATC is great, bringing out all the bits, and I sort of looked at the boards, laid them out on a piece of paper and worked out what size of box I needed, and I decided this was the size of box. I opted, because of the problem with the mini tuner of cabling with USB, and also the Raspberry Pi itself, the fact that we do actually want at times to use the USB ports or the Ethernet port and all the rest. It seemed easier just to position everything so these came straight out the back, and the intention is just to link a short USB cable from the mini tuner back into the Raspberry Pi. So that's all sort of hacked away at the box, but I printed little bezels for the various protrusions and just makes it a bit neater, and I'm glad to have found a practical use for a 3D printer in amateur radio. Just another view of the box as was earlier on today. I think the mini tuner I'm still waiting for, despite my box of buck converters. I didn't have the right type of buck converter for the mini tuner board, and I've got a couple of those on order, and the RS232 port. I don't have any double header any more double headers in my collection, so waiting for some of those, and that's about it. There's nothing else really to go on that. The one thing you can see at bottom left hand corner, a little buck converter for the Raspberry Pi. Despite my best intentions, I screwed the holes in that without thinking how I was going to get the micro USB card out if I ever needed to, so I hope I don't. And my Portstown transmitter It's quite a task getting at the micro USB card and that without taking other things out, and I had meant to leave lots of clearance, but I sort of got excited and carried away with the electric drill and forgot about that. The other problem I have with that box with the lid on it at the moment is just on a reset, which I believe is the Raspberry Pi getting too hot, and it was showing something like 63 degrees earlier on when I looked at the info. So I need to mount a fan above it. There are heat sinks on the components, on the processor, on the Raspberry Pi, but obviously getting too warm. So something for anybody else that's doing that, plan in a fan as opposed to working out how you're going to fit one afterwards. So that's about it for me. I've been busy with that. Busy just ordering up all the components and things. I've lots of things for surface mount, but I actually ran out of 3.3 kilo ohm resistors. Funny enough, 99p to get a clatter off eBay, but it was annoying to actually run out. I had plenty of 0805 size surface mount ones. So I'll pass it on. So M0EYT next, from reading the screen there. I'm learning now that I don't have to remember this. I can actually look at the screen and it's there for me. Thanks for that, Dave. That's very helpful. So over to you from GI4DOH with the group.
Right, evening everyone. Hopefully this is working. Been a couple of weeks since I've been on, and hopefully you will all notice a great improvement in something. I won't give it away by saying what it is, but hopefully you'll notice. So yeah, not been doing much radio stroke TV in the past couple of weeks, mainly because work has been a bit manic, but my current project is some ARM disassembly, which I'm doing on this laptop, and it's a bit of a painful process when you've got a binary that you don't really have any other symbol info for, and picking through it line by line, and I'm used to x86, so this is a bit of a learning curve, but it's really good fun and keeps me occupied in the evening. I did actually build a 70 meg add-on for my Elad Duo, and this is only basically a small filter and amplifier board to take the milliwatt output up to about 50 milliwatts, and also some bandpass filtering on the receive side. So that really is all the radio stuff, and I've got a PA out in the other shed. So yeah, there we go. Right, enough waffle from me, but good to see everyone on the net. I must remember the camera's up there and not down on this laptop. So who is it next? John, G7JTT. This is M0EYT in the group. Mic and camera over to you.
Right, hopefully if I click on myself and turn some sound off, I can hear sound there. Good evening all. Still low power, still haven't got out to do anything with the dish yet. Let's quiet myself again. Right, trying something completely different tonight. I am using the Jetson Nano still with OBS 26, and we now have the virtual camera working. which for Linux doesn't necessarily work straight out of the box. You've got to add some bits and pieces for it. And I've also got a virtual microphone, so I'm kind of hoping the lip sync's not too bad at the moment. There is drift, and you've got to kind of reset it all the time. But the difference is that what I'm using is every original DVB-SDR software with a GStreamer code at the end of the thing. And what I've done is I've modified that, or changed some bits in it, to accept the virtual camera and the virtual audio source. So it's kind of working. It seems to be fairly stable. Not getting too many DTS PCR errors, although there are a few. But the Jetson really is on the limits now. It's all 4 cores are running at about 80% all the time. But I am transmitting and receiving on the same Jetson, so it's kind of doing quite a lot of work, to be honest. One thing before I forget, let me just get it up. David, M0YDH, has asked me to mention if anybody knows about the GPIO pins on the Portsdown 4. I think what he's trying to do is use his stuff from the Portsdown 3 that he built, or Portsdown 2020, and utilise that on his new Portsdown 4. There seems to be some issues with labelling and stuff. So if anybody can look on the forum for that post, it's Portsdown 4 GPIO pins. It's the title, and it's in the Portsdown Digital ATV system. So there we go, public service announcements for you. So really, apart from that, not too much else. This weekend I start my collections, so it's 10-hour days pretty much, Saturday and Sunday, and there's no respite during the week either. So you may see a slightly more hairier because I can't be bothered to shave anymore, or longer hair, etc., and somewhat more baggier eyes. So I apologise in advance. So with that, I better look at the chat again because I've gone off elsewhere. Round to Bernie, G4HJW, G7JTT.
Yep, I'll just give that a second or two to lock up. I've been doing a lot this week, particularly today, and I'm completely brain dead, so don't expect too much logic. Oh, the 8264. Right, oh there I am, right, I can go on to picture. Yes, good evening everybody. It's a long time since I've had that, but with all this good weather, and sunny weather as well, I've been trying to get a lot done, both outside and on the radio. And I was fine up till today, and about an hour ago, and my brain just stopped. So I couldn't even remember on the transverter here what frequency to set for the local oscillator. I couldn't remember it by a long, long way. So among the things I've been doing, anyway, has been the optical, so John will like that. I pleasantly got an email from Noel a few days ago, and a couple of days ago, and you know, he said he was interested in being dragged into optical comms, and he's taken that a bit further, and I think it's Barry, ADN, has given him a flat light, and I've got some of these low power transceivers, so I'm sending 2 of those up in the morning, so we'll see what he manages with that, so he can use them alongside the 122 gig skeds that he's having, which is a good idea. But I think even these would be fine at 1/4 of a watt, unlike the 15 watts from the flat light. Oh, the other thing as well, that really, this thing, which is my antenna alignment thing, which is I mentioned last week. I had to rebuild it completely. If you remember, I've got a converter, and then it goes into an IS strip to give me an RSSI input, and in between I've got a low pass filter at half a meg, and it should have been right down at half a microwatt sensitivity, and it wasn't. And I got a couple of those switching modules, and it was them that were getting across. So now, don't know if you can see them, I'm on to 7805s and 7818s, and now that is really sensitive, and that's a joy. It's almost pleasing to deliberately go out and readjust the dish, because it's so easy with that. So I'm really pleased. So I think that's it radio wise. Yeah, pretty much so. Because we haven't got too many people on tonight, so it'll be okay, but I've got to click and collect at 9, so if it had been last week, this would have been my one and only over, I think. Who have you got it down to go to? Yes, Colin. So I think that'll do me for the moment. As I say, I'm not totally with it. All the things they tell you about age that your parents tell you, and you think they're silly old so-and-sos, it damn well comes true. It's very disappointing. So I see there's nobody else on, so I don't think we need to do a sort of hot changeover, do we? So on to you, Colin.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bernie. I'll just get prepared to mute my sound. Okay, thanks a lot, Bernie. I'll try to. There we go. That's it. I'm mainly using the Ryde today. I have got a mini tune on as well, just in case. Just in case we fall foul of a station nearby. So I was just having a little experiment when we came on to see if I could sort of get it to move on when there was a station on there. But on the occasions I did it, the other stations have stopped transmitting, but never mind. I haven't really been on the satellite hardly at all this week. It's getting busy too. I'm about to go off to work. I was going to say I'll make this my only over, but I think we might get for another one before I have to go. But if I don't come back, it means I've left. So we should be all right though. It's not doing too badly for time. But I haven't got all that much time today. Actually, my mini tune is suffering a little bit. So there we are. I usually use the H264, but I've got some issue with my computer that means that some H265 it doesn't decode. But it's alright on VLC, but I had to turn the hardware encoding off, thanks to Rob for that suggestion, and that fixed it. But so it's something I think relating to it's probably to do with the NVIDIA graphics card I expect, and there seems to be some issues. I don't know if I've had updates, but we keep getting updates that break things. It's been fine for ages, but I guess we'll get the resolution. But I'd say we're trying the Ryde today. Yes, okay on making sure you make room for the SD card. I have fallen foul of that before, but the rig on the van is also. I thought I'd left a lot of room to get the SD card out, because the new ones they used to be able to push them to unlatch them. That would have worked fine, but the new ones just push in, and so I stood the Pi off the deck a little bit so that you could get your fingers in there. so that sort of helps. But on my Ryde, I've made it so that I can just loosen the front panel and then it's just right in front of you. So that's not too bad. I can't really show that. I don't think that does this camera move? Oh, it does. Yeah, that's this one. It does move, this one. So the card is just behind there. So all I have to do is just pull the front off, and there's enough cable to do it. And yes, likewise, I've got I'm actually using little fans on top. You might be able, I don't know if that's going to zoom in enough. Probably not. But there's the heatsink's got a couple of fans on it, and I've left a bit of a. Oh, you can just see those, all right, yeah. And then to get some ventilation through the rest, because the tuner gets pretty warm, then I've put a hole in the underside as well, just to allow some extra ventilation. I don't think it would be a problem, but I do. These are for repeater use, and so they'll be in. The ambient temperature will be warm anyway around it, so we needed a little bit of extra flow. I don't know what this is going to do to my signal, moving the camera around so violently, but eventually it'll settle down, I'm sure. There we go. The only thing I've done regarding the Q100 is I've made up another cable. I've decided I was going to use some more salubrious cable, but I've gone again for EcoFlex 10, which I'm using at the moment. Only a short run from the PA to the dish. But something that annoyed me was that my patch feed has got a male end plug on it, and I've been using an adapter all this time. So I've actually made this short cable up with a female on the end and obviously a male for the PA. So that's my small contribution to it. I might be able to shorten that a bit more yet, but I put the plug on anyway. But I've gone for the solder ones now instead of the others. So I have a bit more confidence with those, but they must be all right, because people like Andrews use the solderless ones all the time, and they seem to work all right, don't they? But anyway, so we've made up this little cable to go on. I don't know when I'll get to fit the said cable, but what I've got at the moment is a fairly lengthy cable, actually. It was one that I use portable in the van, and I just needed a cable in a hurry, and I just borrowed it out the van. And it's been there ever since. I thought it's about time we did that, so we're going to make a little shelf in the shed for the PA and stuff to sit on. So that'll be that. Right, that's probably a bit about it from me, and we'll pass it on to G4NKV.
Okay, are we on? We are on. Okay there. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to get on tonight. I've had quite a few issues with ports now. I was trying to set up half an hour earlier, and I didn't seem to be getting any output at all from it. So I had it stripped down somewhat, I had Spectrum Analyzer out and looking at various points. Then I noticed some settings had gone a bit skewiff, and instead of outputting to line DV, it had changed itself to line MIDI for some reason. The audio earlier sounded absolutely awful. I hope it's a little better now. But yeah, hopefully it's working okay now. What I've been trying to do for last week, I don't know if you've probably seen the thread I put on. I've been trying to get OBS to output. I did a stupid issue. I forgot to put the packet size on in the output to URL field. Once I got that on, it did start working. I used multicast, and unfortunately that destroyed the rest of the network in the house. Could not send and receive emails. I couldn't navigate in the router page, in the admin page. It just timed out. And the DVD the dongle I've got plugged in the router, which accesses the 3G internet, stopped responding. I then tried Unicast, and yeah, fair, it worked okay. So it seems my router isn't rightly set up to use multicast. I'm going to get in touch with Draytech and see if it's just some settings I've not got right. It's a big 400-page manual. It's most of it's way beyond my capabilities of understanding. It's a very complicated router to use, but I did require it to use the 3G dongle, as the ADSL here, TalkTalk, is pitifully slow, between 1 and 2 megabits per second. So at the moment I'm just using the JVC camera, the EasyCap, as last week, and not got around to getting the OBS Studio used into the Portsdown yet. I've been trying to get my hands, get used to OBS, using YouTube until it failed last night to find out how to use it really. So I didn't want to use it for the first time today when I was not sure how it fully works. So I've had those sort of issues. Got a load of parts have arrived for building the Ryde, so hopefully I can get on with that shortly. I'd like to get that going. It's a lot to learn at once, I suppose, and being a sort of a newcomer to this, it's taking some getting used to. I'm still on the Spectrum amplifier. I haven't got around to getting the big one connected in yet. It's outside. It's in its so-called IP66 rated box, which leaks when it rains. So I've got leaks to sort out. Hopefully I'll get onto that perhaps this weekend. The amplifier I did have, I blew. It was one of those Amplion amplifiers. Let's see if this shows up okay. This is the one I had that I blew, and is it going to show? Yeah, I think it's okay. The palette has found it's gone short. I do intend to try and replace that. If I get the transistor off without damaging it, the board, I'll order a new transistor and a MOSFET there and get it put in. But I think it's going to be an issue getting it off. I think I'm going to borrow Sue's hairdryer, heat the board from underneath and use my hot air gun on the top. Hopefully I'll be able to get it off. So that's something, but I did get one from the French amateur, whose call sign I can't remember. That's fitted inside. It's ready to go. It's been tested up to around 200 watts. Used outside, so the leak, we can get that going. It's sorting at the moment. Anyway, I don't know who's next. Oh.
Good evening all. Good evening all. Okay, sound is okay, so I will take it out. Well, from last meeting, a little bit of fun, a little bit of fun, and also some less fun. So starting from the fun, you see it on the screen. I'm playing with my new graphic card, NVIDIA 2060. It's really amazing what you can do with it. So no more need for a blue screen behind me. It's all done by the card with expert system on it. So a lot of fun. You can also do some things fantastic, which is to take two screens and brings them together to make a huge high-resolution screen. And I've also downloaded some very nice demonstration of the high power of the graphic card to manage graphics and so on. So now I need to learn a little bit more how to use at best the NVEC encoders, which are for 264 and 265. That was the fun part. The less fun part, let me just take out the less fun part is that my Spectrum, HP Spectrum, had a problem with switch for the bandwidth, and it's due to something well known in the community, HP community, is a very small part on the switch. Don't know if it is good enough. You see this comb? You see two small holes next to it? Well, it's the missing one, so normally it's two pieces. And they are just fixed with, well, not too well. So they go away, and after that, your instrument doesn't work. So I had to take out all the panel, the front panel, to take out the parts behind, and at the time HP was thinking they could only build themselves switches. So you see here the track. It's BCD track, in fact, for coding, BCD coding, and the small comb is rotating on it. And of course, if it is gone, no more signals going to the electronics. And the main issue now is to fix these small pieces. And I've seen that most of the people who have repaired them, they are using a very small screw, 1 millimeter screw, to fix that. So I have ordered a few of them. I was lucky to find in Switzerland a shop for the architect and also the people doing, how do you say that in English, modelism, you know, small plane and so on, and train. And lucky enough, they have some of this very small screw. So that's it for this first run. I can go black, and I will go back with my girlfriend Susie and wash a little bit myself to finish my turn. So next one is, let me just, then div. It's look like.
That was quick. Mute the receiver. Okay, Michelle, thank you very much. Sorry to hear about your analyzer. That's looks like quite a difficult job. I think modeller's shop is the word you were looking for, selling the really small screws. They can be really useful for those little parts. Model supplies. Going around the comments, Richard, your Ryde, yeah, that looks very neat indeed. Access to SD cards is always a problem on those things. I've actually built a Ryde that specifically got the Pi right at the edge, so I can get SD cards in and out to build them easily for the shop. And actually built 20 last weekend, which about half of them have gone now. Good to see the 70 meg stuff, Paul. we're looking at whether we can do a bit more TV on 50 megs, but I think that's going to be a home activity only for me, because I can then get an aerial in the loft. That might work. Let's put the power up just slightly. John, your lip sync seemed perfect on my ride. Didn't seem to have any issues there. And I'll try and respond to David's forum post after the net about the Portsdown band switching. Activity here, well, a bit of working on some bug fixing on the ride. There should be a new release in a couple of days that fixes the high side LNB calculations for 5150 megs, LNBs for 3.4 gigs, which were in error in the previous release. But everything else on it seemed to work all right, even though there were a number of problems reported. We've either resolved them or I've been unable to reproduce them. Good evening, Jason. Please write on the forum if you want to transmit. Apart from that, I've been tiling the kitchen, so that's taken a fair bit of my time. Now, we've got a special guest on the net tonight, but everybody's going to need to switch to 250 kilosymbols for the next over. So get your remote controls ready for your rides. Everest F50EO, many of us are running software that originally came from him. I think perhaps Bernie might be the only one who isn't running Everest software, maybe Michelle as well, but the rest of us are probably running Everest software. So Everest is going to do one over on 250 kilosymbols, and we'll take a look for him, and after that it'll be round to Richard, GI4DOH, who'll be back on 333. So a bit of symbol rate switching. So over to Everest on 250 kilosymbols, F5AEO to take it from the BATC Net, G8GKQ.
F5 OEO, every day, thanks for that. This is GI4DOH with the group, I think, if I can receive myself here. Obviously back to the 333 locked onto myself, and of course I have the Ryde at the wrong setting at the moment. Let's see if I can just get that up. Not very good at multitasking. I'll knock a hole in the lid of either a 12-volt fan or just monitor the temperature. So, apart from that, most of my time was taken up with the metal bashing for the. Sorry, just not watching what I'm doing. You thought you were being spared my ugly face there. Time was taken up with the metal bashing, making holes. The HF bands with real genuine sunspots after a long period of absolutely nothing, and I was very pleased to work a Russian day expedition in Malawi this afternoon on 15 metres. There's not been much going on 15 metres for a long time, so I'm busy enough with radio during lockdown. I believe our politicians did finally agree that they will extend our Northern Ireland lockdown for another week. But my local cafe, I can sit from the radio for.
Right, enough of that racket. So nice to see everyone on the TV net tonight, and yes, sounds like there's some quite interesting projects going on. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with the volume control on the ports down 4 here, so I can hear myself. But yeah, nice to see Ever East on the DATV net. That is absolutely excellent. If you're stuck for a PA, I've got this which has been laying on the shelf doing nothing, and it was from an old project, but it's now 2QRP for me, so it is surplus to requirements. But yeah, excellent net again, and good to see a good quantity of people on. typically this Thursday evening's net conflicts with the G4RFR 2 meter net, which I've got on and I'm listening to with my third ear. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, nice to see everyone, and I look forward to the net next week, and I shall be back. So I'll just have a quick look to see who it is. Oh, of course, it's round to John, isn't it? G7JTT. This is M0.
ECT thing, whatever it's called, I forgot what it's called now. Whatever. Anyway, I've increased it, and that seems to stop the script from whinging all the time. So hopefully that's better now. I put a link on the chat to a micro SD card extender from the Pi Hut. I'm not sure if that would help various people out that have built the ports down and thought, oops, how do I get the SD card in and out? It's likely never to go wrong until you're out portable, and although you've taken a spare card with you, you can't fit the spare card in because you've got to strip the damn thing down to get it in there. So I'm tempted to buy one myself, because on my Jetson I had a SD card issue that the card went in and the card wouldn't come back out again. So in having to pull the card out, I've damaged the SD card holder. So at the moment I have to keep the card in there with force. So yeah, I will get around to fixing it one day, but it was one of those silly moments that the I don't know, it was a genuine card, it was a decent card, bought it from a reputable place, but it went in, I corrupted the card, I had to get the card out, and the card just would not come out. So it was a case of pliers on the end, and that was it. So really that's pretty much it from me. See if there is anything I've actually done. Not really. Sort of just still playing around with this thing, really tweaking it, and that's a
Well, you can call me G80NR if you like, John. That used to be my old call sign. But if you look it up on eBay, then Google, it doesn't appear in many places. Just bring my own picture back up. Right, let's go back to that. I'm a little bit like you, John. I don't have an awful lot, but it's really only this combination. I've been so busy during the day that my brain is like a sieve, which is ironic really when you think of what you're getting done. And also the fact that I've got a click and collect any time, so I shall be very bad mannered and rush off after I've had this over. I brought some things in, given that Noel was going to appear and since I've carted it in, I'm going to show it. When I do something, it's very Robinson, so that's a light box. Since you brought your stuff in, John, so it's easy enough. I found some sliding fits, and that's always worked for me. And also, I've always found that when I'm setting up, I'll leave the transceiver out and just look down here until I can see the other station, and that's always worked. And this is now just a carrying handle. It's not a sight. Well, it is a sight, but it's not a sighting telescope at all. I think that really is the lot for me. I think. What else? Oh yes, David. I do have some of Every's stuff here. And good evening to you, Every's. I've got the mini tune, so I've got that running as my receiver. The Pluto I'm just using on transmit. It's the only thing I've done with that since it arrived. There's been so many things on the go that I haven't bothered to look at that again. Although I've managed to persuade a few people nearby to buy one instead of some of the alternatives. But that's really only my love affair with analog devices, because I've found them to be brilliant with all their peripheral things, you know, like with the synthesizers, with all the LMXs. The freebie drive software that they did years ago, I thought was just amazing. So I have this thing about analog devices, and so yeah. Oh right, John. Yes, it doesn't look good, John. It looks a mess. It couldn't be more crappy than that, really. And what I was going to do, I said I don't really know what Noel wants to do. If he's wanting to use optical on the when he goes out on 122 gig operations, portable, he could just use 100mm circular lens, couldn't he? And some good old Wix blue tube. That works the trick. I don't really know what he wants to do. I was hoping he'd be on tonight, but I'll get that stuff packed up tomorrow and sent off to him and see what he... Yeah, brownie box camera. I sometimes feel I'm that vintage, I'm afraid, Jim. Oh, cardboard, John, well done. When I did some testing, you know this one uses the LED as a detector. When I wanted to test that out, because there's a lot of cynicism about that, and it's Stuart Wisher, DHCYW, who first put me onto that. I went up to work Barry from the Wolds, and Richard came out with me, and I'm not going to remember his call sign, but he's done a lot of work with Barry on various things as well as optical. And when you see his, well, it was on the other photograph the other week. When you see the construction he has, it's just fantastic. And I'm afraid mine is not very good when I compare it to that. Right, yes, I'm glad you said it's Colin next, because I'm beginning to ramble on, and yeah, I really need to go. So apologies again for putting it over to Colin and then rushing straight out. I am sorry about that. I just didn't think about it when I got my slot at Tesco's. I just thought Thursday was the soonest one I could get in, and that was it. So I wish everybody a good night, and look forward to next week. It's beginning to be, because with a few in the area that are looking. You saw Dave G60ZT was watching as well earlier, and as I said early on when I first came on, we should have a good group coming on from this area if you just consider all of the fens as being the same area, which will be good. Okay, good night all, and on to you, Colin. Oh, you wanted to, if you're still there, I know you've got the same problem that you need to go.
Bernie? Yeah, I'm still here. I'm not going to stay on for too long though, because I do have to go off to work.
Bernie? Yeah, I'm still here.
Almost immediately. Now I've remembered there's a mute button on the Ryde. I forgot because it wasn't there originally. I forgot about it, so that's far easier now. When I saw Dave operate his, although mine doesn't work on the remote. I'm using the combi, one, so I'm going to have to look at that. I can probably change that around, but the mute's not working on my remote. But I haven't had the chance to test that previously because we didn't have that functionality. But it works a treat. Works a treat on the front panel button anyway. So that's handy. Very good. Yeah, great to see Everest there. Finally got. Usually it goes via via Jean-Pierre, I think, via the network, I think. But good to see him getting up there. That worked fine with me. Actually, I reported D2. But according to Ryde, it was D2.6. So you may or may not be able to see that. They may not focus. These cameras sometimes they focus, sometimes they don't, and there's a bit of a delay. You might be able to see that. Yeah, D2.6 on there, which is not bad. So that's an excellent start there. No problems at all. And John G7JTT, that when you came on first, and it was reported that you had a few or whatever it was there, it was fine on Ryde. That's spotted that before either. I've only excellent. Comes up on screen on the Ryde that it's muted. That's going to save a lot of agony. Excellent job there. Yeah, John's signal was fine on the Ryde, but a little jerky on Minitune. But on the second over, it was fine on both. Although the lip sync had gone out, you probably hadn't readjusted that, but the lip sync was out on that. But that's all. But picture was absolutely fine. Working a treat really, that system. So that's very good. Oh, my audio's choppy, is it now? That doesn't surprise me. I'm plagued with audio issues, you know. Plagued with audio issues here. I don't know what it is, but yeah, whatever system I use, I have trouble with the audio. But anyway, that's it for now. We've got to whiz off to work, and same as John. Really, it's going to go mad now. It's going to go mad now. But there we are. We'll get through somehow or another, I'm sure. Okay, 7.3 then. G4KO.
Well, it looks like I really must be, I must get better at pressing that transmit button. Yeah, hope you're all copying me okay. I was having some problems with Colin's audio. It was breaking up, but I see not everybody has that issue, so I wonder if it's something in my receiver. I'm using the Minitune. I think I noticed the same issue last week. With the audio there from Colin, but I'm sure I've seen him on the satellite at other times, and it's been perfectly okay. So I really don't know what the issue is there. Just hope mine's okay. And a quick monitor of mine, and mine seems to be breaking up, at least for me as well. So there you go. Yeah, that amplifier I blew, I don't know what caused, well, I think I know what caused it. I got a AMSAT preamp I put in the box with it. I figured at the time I'd need a little more gain at the front end, and as soon as I powered up, with no RF going in at the time, the current on the FET just went through the roof. And I'm pretty convinced it was putting the little driver amp in from AMSAT I've obviously got a few issues I'm going to have to sort out. Must get this audio better, and I think I've got some other issues with the ports down there. I'm not sure if the 8-way RF switch has failed, so something to look at.
I do. Well, not much to add to the first term. A very interesting speech from each of you. For the one which are constructing some amplifier, they want to control temperature of the system. I found these very nice small boards which can measure the temperature. You can put with the small push button some limits up or down, and you can switch on, switch off a small relay with them. And with the NTC here, just arrived today, so I'm going to test them with the Amplion amplifier. Just for the fun, the price was 4.4 Swiss franc a piece, including shipping. So it's coming from Germany. Reichelt, it's a big electronic shop. Quite interesting. So the idea is if I can remove this one, I use NTC, which is on the Amplion board. That will be fantastic. So that's my small contribution for tonight. And I wish you all a nice evening, and looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for Dave for organizing and managing the net
Yep. Okay, yeah, Jason, unfortunately, there was clearly something wrong with your transport stream there, because I had problems both on both my rides and on Minitune. Yeah, Colin's audio wasn't perfect. Mine probably isn't either. The Portsdown audio is still a challenge for me, and is not right yet. I think that's the problem with Colin's, and it depends on the video encoding as to whether the Portsdown audio works well or not quite so well. Muting, yeah, mute on the Ryde remote control does not yet work. I was actually using the TV remote to mute the HDMI TV I'm viewing my Ryde on, but there is the front panel button with the icon, thanks to Tim. Somebody mentioned SD card extenders. I actually ordered a couple the other day. I haven't installed them in anything. I don't know how well they work, whether they are dodgy or anything. This is from Pony, who seems to be a fairly reputable supplier, so I thought I'd give it a try, just with the plug on the end there to put the in the SD card slot and the hole for the SD card to go in. Mute should work from the remote, says Tim. Okay, I must check the buttons on mine to see whether it's mapped. Old call signs, yeah, you'll see occasionally reference to G6AMD/T around on the old call sign front. Use it for testing occasionally on the streams and the like. John, you're doing very well with that Nano, really impressed. And I see one of the Raspberry Pi suppliers has the new 2 GB version available for 60 quid, which starts bringing them down to affordable prices. And Everest, thanks very much for coming on. I had problems with your audio, but I should imagine the problem was my end. But a very impressive picture for 250 kilosymbols, half FEC, that's for sure. So thanks very much for that. 9:10. I think we're at the end of the net. If you want to come up once more, Everest, we'll take another look for you. But that's it for the net. Thank you all for coming on again. Good to see some interesting stuff. Rob, M0DTS, are you available to transmit? Have you got back from having your lunch? If your dinner, do you want to put that? Just give me a message on the chat if you're available to transmit, and we'll put you up. Yep. Okay. So round to Rob, M0DTS to close the net, and then Everest if you're still there, Everest. M0DTS to take it, G8GKQ. Good night all.
Okay, yeah, totally unprepared this evening. Speakers. Oh, the audio's working. Cool. Right. Yeah, just not prepared at all. OBS, that one. Right, yeah, evening. Just basically just arrived, really. 4 days over with, so I've got 4 days to play about with stuff now. So we'll see what we can get up to. Apologies for 265, that was what I had it set to last, I've just noticed there, so hopefully everyone's getting us okay. Yeah, well, not a lot done in the last 4 days, been busy at work. That is that really. What have I got to add? I was going to demo me noise cancelling on 2 meters using the Lime, but I think my reference or the noise detecting antenna I'm using isn't quite working well enough, so it isn't going to do. It's not a very good demonstration. Unfortunately, I can't really show that, otherwise that was the plan. But I think maybe some water's got into it with the rain and what have you, or it's fell apart. It was basically just a little HP9CV that I put together rather quickly last week to sort of play about. But I'll give it a go, see whether it'll work. But let's see. So yeah, apologies. It might work, it might not. So this is the only thing really I've been playing with. I've still been playing around with KM. I code stuff on there. Yeah, there's loads of noise on 2 meters this today. I don't know what it is. But if I share SDR desktop. If I transition to that and then put that up, does that work? Oh yeah, that does work. It's not a particularly great picture though, is it? Really? Oh, it's coming up on there. So, yeah, there's 2 meters, lots of, well, actually not that much noise. I've got this noise in the middle, but that isn't the noise I was intending on getting rid of. Let's just see if I can find an example of the other noise. See what appears. Yeah, so there's a bit of it there, this wandering bit of noise in the middle here. Depends which direction I'm beaming, but it's coming from some nearby houses and things, so there's a bit of noise wandering around in the middle there. So we'll see if we can remove that. Oh no, it is working. Yeah, anyway, there's lots of wideband noise and all sorts of stuff going on 2 meters here. I don't know where it's emanating from, but yeah. So anyway, not a very good demonstration. I can't really show you the noise very well because there's some other noise on top of it and things. But there we are. Yeah. Oh well, that's not going to show up very good, is it? And it isn't a particularly great picture to demonstrate with. The quality is quite poor. I don't know why that is. Anyway, so yeah, not a great deal to show on there. Just too rushed together to make it go. Be doing a bit more work on KM this week again. I don't think there's anything else to report on really, but yeah, I've sort of caught a little bit of the net on and off, so it's just too much of a rush getting in like 8 o'clock or just after, so there we go. Right, maybe well, I'll not be on for the next couple of weeks because I probably won't make it back in time, and I'll be on my 4 days, so I'm not as dedicated as Colin when he's doing his 12-hour shift. Definitely not. So round to Everest, F5OEO, M0DTS, and 7.3s everyone for this week. We'll see if we get a test card back.